So I am now recording it and I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so there you go. So please thumbs up if you can see my screen now. Thumbs up po pag you can see. Okay. So after the hectic tasks being given to you to compose, to create, what do you call this? Paragraphs, essays, like the Korean craze, like your personal thing, something like that. So it's now time to deliver. So I'm back. So what are our objectives for this chapter or in this module? So our objectives will be, number one is present ideas persuasively using appropriate language registers, tone, facial expressions, and gestures. The other one is to adopt awareness of audience and context in presenting ideas. So these are our two objectives that we need to accomplish for this afternoon. Okay, I believe that your writing activity will somehow help you, right? Especially in delivering, because we are now in that deliver part. Okay. So the word is deliver. So just a recap. So I want to congratulate you for the job well done. And for those who did not pass yet the requirements, please do so. So what does it mean when we say to deliver? So to deliver means this is an act of bringing something from one destination to another. Like for example, you are tasked by your parents to bring this item or this object or this thing to your grandparents, to the loved ones, to your uncles, aunties, and to your cousins. So that is a form of delivering. Okay. So another thing is, like for example, if you have ordered in Lazada or Shopee, so after maybe 2 to 3 weeks, then your order or your item will arrive. And if it's COD or cash on delivery, then you should be ready for that money, okay? So that you can claim your item. So to deliver, in the context of purposive communication, means using your speech and making it work for you in showing your classmates or a bigger audience that you have what it takes to deliver. And of course, before anything else, before you deliver something through speech, you should also be equipped with the requirements, okay, or the desired skills that you need to have in order for you to really express yourself, okay, in a bigger audience. Like for example, you are in the auditorium, so you'll be the speaker, something like that, of maybe Vesper, midweek, divine hour, or even in colloquium time. Okay, either here, like for example, I will be asking you to present. So this is just a small audience or yes, small group audience that you can have online. Okay, but since we don't have really the opportunity to meet face to face, so that's why we are utilizing technology. Okay, what are these? So there are tips that you need to consider as well, okay, in order for you to really engage your viewers or your listeners to listen to you. So the number one thing is use your voice. So it is really important. Like, for example, if you want to deliver something, you can express like what I've said a while back, right? So when you decided to write a speech on a specific topic, in your in your own way figure out a specific voice to use in expressing yourself. This voice you have just discovered is grounded in your speech. The moment has come for you to use this voice, articulate your point of view verbally, and be ready to look at warm bodies reacting to every word or sentence you say. And especially if you are an English major teacher to be, right? And students. So you are really expected to really perfect, like for example, your grammar and everything, your diction, your choice of words, the diction, that is the diction. Your tone, it should not be boring because they will be expecting a lot from you. Okay, so do not let go of this voice from the time you read this chapter. You will need it to keep you going in this journey towards delivering your speech as effectively as possible. Actually, with the content of, like, for example, what you have written, it reflects your character. Like, for example, if you are a happy person, then whatever you include in that particular speech or write up that you'll be doing will really be happiness or jolly, right? So that's your voice. Sometimes you're serious, sometimes you are humorous, something like that. Okay, so we should use your voice, especially when you are dealing with delivering a speech. Okay, the second one is, it's on the screen, decide on a style of delivery. What are you comfortable at in delivering your speech? Do you want to stay behind a podium to conceal a pair of knees trembling in the first few minutes of your delivery? Of course, I've been there as well. Like, I'm not really good in delivering speech before. But since now, of course, it should be a development. It's not a gradual development, actually. It's a slow paced development. But if you're already equipped, something like that, and if you are really engaged to speaking every time, then you'll be building your confidence in speaking. Okay, like what I'm doing right now. So there will really come a time that you really need to do your best, okay, to exert effort in building your confidence in speaking, because this is very important right now, right? If you're not really that expressive, then of course they will not be asking for, like, for example, piece of advice, something like that, to your friends or from your friends, something like that. So it depends. So if you can use the podium just to conceal your nervousness, or you can have that really you're verbally expressive, like you're doing the gestures there, here. Okay, so decide on the style of delivery. So what are you comfortable with? Okay. Okay, number 3 is eye contact always works. So who among you here, can you just tap the like button if you really have this, what we call, like when you do the eye contact, so as if they are being glued to you. Okay, something like that. You have a good captivating smile, captivating eye, something like that. Do you have that? Can you please tap your like button, or yes, thumbs up button, if you can do that to your audience, or if you were able to do that. Anyone? You don't have the charisma, the aura, something like that? Okay, you should be building that because it's very important. So it is making an effort to draw in your audience to you and what you are saying. One of the more effective and common ways of doing this, however, tribe, is maintaining eye contact. It is only after you have done this that you can tell yourself that you have arrived at the scene and that your audience is all prepped up to be engaged. But do not linger on one or few people from your audience because this may put them off in the end. Okay, when you do the eye contact, you should also consider others. Okay? Consider the eyes of others. It should not be neglectful. Means there are only two or three, you're doing the eye contact as if, oh, are we just the audience of this person? Something like that. Okay, there would be a negative connotation to them, okay, to your audience. Okay, so you should be having that eye contact with the crowd or to most of the audience, if not all. Then number 4, practice makes perfect. But I will add one, that constant practice makes perfect. Even though you're practicing, keep on practicing over and over again, but that is not perfect or you're not doing it the best that you can. So there's no good effect of that. But when you say constant practice, like you do it the best way again and again and again, so that would determine your future in speech or in your delivery of the speech. So never underestimate the power of rehearsing your speech. You can have your big mirror or wide mirror for you to like, as if that mirror will reflect your audience. So what would be the reaction whenever I say or utter this word, something like that. So you can also have your tripod camera, like for example, you're blogging. So if you already develop that confidence in front of a camera, then later on, you'll also be good in sharing or in your persuasive speech. Okay, so in the long run, you will get used to watching yourself on camera. Okay, so of course, the main thing there is your critics later on. Okay, so you should accept criticisms as well. Okay, because in that way, you may develop yourself as long as those are positive criticisms. So you can accept their positive criticism and constructive criticism. Okay, and number 5, get yourself an influencer. Okay, this is very important. Like you have someone you look up to, like for example, a news reporter, a good journalist, what else? A good speaker, something like that. So you should have an influencer, okay? Someone who can influence you in doing good in delivery in your speech. Like there's what do you call this? There's a proposal here or being prescribed by the author of the book that we should also consider viewing or watching from TED Talk. Okay, what is here in TED Talk? So in TED Talk, we can use to hear or see powerful speakers. Okay, you can just surf whatever theme or whatever topic you would want to immerse yourself. Okay, so just get yourself really an influencer. That will really, really help you. Okay, so those are just five of the most we can copy later on, or we can tell to ourselves tips on how to be a good speaker. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So the types of speeches. I believe that it's not your first time to really talk about this. Okay, so the first one is the informative speech. So what's the aim of an informative speech? It is for giving out information that is both interesting and useful to our audience, like objects, processes, events, concepts. Okay, an example of this informative speech, if you are searching in the internet or on the YouTube, so it is videos about Apple and Samsung. So actually, whenever you, like for example, purchase a newly, what do you call that? A cell phone, like the latest ones. Okay. So in the video part, whenever you tapped and you go to the video icon, then in that video icon, there is already a stored video about the promotion of that particular model of cell phone, like what I have in my Samsung, in my Vivo rather. Okay, so you can watch those because those are informations coming from the manufacturers and the producers of the cell phones or technology. Okay, that is about informative speech. The second one is persuasive speech. So when you make your audience believe and subscribe to your point of view, that is what we call persuasive speech. So why you should do this? Why should you be doing this? Something like that. So you're already persuading. You want them to believe what you believed in. Okay. So there should be your speech should be captivating. And a successful persuasive speech is able to present a point of view, get an audience to believe it, and then even compel them to act accordingly. Like, for example, you want them to become a vegetarian. Oh, that's only an example. So if you want them to become a vegetarian, make it sure that you yourself should also be doing that lifestyle, right? That healthy lifestyle. So before anything else, you would also ingest or tell to yourself that you will be doing that particular action before you can ask someone to do it themselves. Okay, so that's persuasive speech. Okay, let's see if there's an example. Okay, so there's an example, Never Give Up by Nick Vujicic. Okay, you can browse on the YouTube, Never Give Up by Nick Vujicic. Then the third one is the argumentative speech. So argumentative speech is to make a stand for a certain issue. It is written to make points and present evidence to support them in a very convincing fashion. An example of this is Looks Aren't Everything. Believe Me, I'm a Supermodel by Cameron Russell. Okay, so that's argumentative. So you need to present evidence to support your point. Okay, so you can use studies from other writers or authors to really supplement the things that what you are saying is good, that what you are saying is valid, reliable, and can be counted in. Okay, so let's also deal with the other types of speeches. Number one is the read. Okay, it's not the read speech, it's the read speech. So to be delivered verbatim. Okay, when we say verbatim, it's word by word. Okay, because it's a read speech. So this contains specific information and requires utmost accuracy. So of course, if you need to read it, or you read that particular speech, you need also to rehearse. An example of read speeches are SONA. So you should be accurate, right? Like you're the president. Then you should also be giving facts and nothing but the truth. Second one is a Pope's message. Third, an engineer's report. Then eulogy. So what you should be telling there are truth and facts. So that's read speech. Next one is memorized speech. Okay, so this is good when you have a strong memory. It means you really have that pictographic mind. So that will save you thinking of the right words to say to get through your speech. Like you don't really want to mess your speech. So if you can do a memorized speech, then that would be good. So just a reminder, do not sound like a little too rehearsed, and you should not be sounding like an artificial and monotonous. So that is just a friendly reminder that when you deliver a memorized speech, it should not be sound as too rehearsed and artificial as well as monotonous. Monotonous means one tone the whole time. So it will not be helping your audience. Okay, the third one will be the impromptu speech. Okay, impromptu speech are mostly seen and heard during occasions. This can happen during business meetings, committee reports, and testimonies. That's why this type of speech is called impromptu. So an example is like you are a beauty queen, so you have joined in a beauty pageant. So of course, in a minute, you should be really expounding or expanding your idea about a certain issue or a topic. And this is, we have also this what we call thinking on your feet. Like in a particular issue that it should not affect your stand or your composure. That's why thinking on your feet. You should be saying things or expounding your ideas with confidence. So that's thinking on your feet. Another one to consider is the extemporaneous speech. Extemporaneous speech. I'm so sorry, I don't have space over here. So this is also, okay, remove the occasions. So given some time before being on stage. Okay, this is the good point in extemporaneous speech, that you will be given some time before being on stage, and that some time is 3 to 5 minutes in order for you to prepare for delivery. So you should be composing yourself about the thesis statement, the topic sentences, supporting sentences, and the concluding part of your speech. So if your brain is wired for quick thinking and is able to organize sound ideas logically, not to mention gifted with very strong oral skills, then an extemporaneous speech can be a breeze for you. You will not have time to write your ideas in an impromptu situation because you don't have the luxury of time to do so. Participation in spirited discussions with your friends and family is always a good way to practice for an impromptu speech. Like for example, there's a little issue in the family, in the circle of your family or members of your family. So of course, it is not really nice to be breaking a home, okay? Or making sure that whenever you tell something, you do it politely, okay, and respectfully. Like if you are suggesting, okay, may I have this point, something like that. You should do it in a polite manner or polite way. Okay. So I will be sending you your activity for this week. Okay, it's entitled Speech Delivery. Okay, you will be recording yourself because this is individually. Okay, and the first instruction is prepare for the delivery of the speech that you wrote for the previous chapter. So what you need to do first is to recall, okay, or you need to refresh yourself from the topics that you have covered during your past activities. Okay, what are these activities? So, like for example, the first one in activity 6.1 is young people have a responsibility in shaping the future. The second one, I am more than who people think I am. Then the third one, it is the season of Korean drama. So what you'll be doing is to just go back to your activity, to what you have passed to me, and then later on, you're going to rehearse and then you're going to record it. Okay. So is that an informative speech, a persuasive speech, or an argumentative speech? Okay, or you're gonna do the red speech, the memorized speech, impromptu, or extemporaneous. So you can have at least two. Okay, like for example, you combine, what is that? You combine informative speech and memorized speech, that's okay. Or argumentative speech and extemporaneous speech. Okay, so at least maybe 3 to 5 minutes, that would be okay to me. And then after recording your video, then you're going to send it to me. Okay, I think I am done with our discussion. So do you have any comment? You can now unmute yourselves. And okay, but before that, to end really our discussion, we talk about speech. So it is found in Proverbs 25, verse 11. It says, a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. So it reminds us that we should be tactful enough when we utter or say words, and that words can really mean to others, whether it could build them or it can destroy them. Okay, I'm now opening the floor for this, for any kind of issue or discussion for this afternoon. Okay, come on, click. You can now unmute yourselves one at a time so that I can answer your particular, what is this, question. Okay, anyone?
Sir,
Sir,